What if the moment your life finally starts improving is the exact moment you begin destroying it? It sounds strange, but many people do this without realizing it. You work hard for something. A better job. A healthy relationship. More money. More peace. And then suddenly, you start making bad decisions. You stop replying to messages. You waste time. You argue with people you love. You spend money carelessly. Or you tell yourself that you don't deserve the good things happening to you. And the worst part is this, you often think the problem is outside of you. But sometimes, the problem is the fear of becoming someone new. A lot of people believe they are afraid of failure. But honestly, many people are just as afraid of success. Because success changes things. It changes your habits, your identity, and sometimes even your relationships. And your brain loves what feels familiar, even if familiar means stress, chaos, or disappointment. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. You finally get free time, but instead of enjoying it, you fill your schedule with unnecessary work. You meet someone kind and stable, but you lose interest because it feels too calm. Or you reach an important goal and immediately create a new problem. This matters because self-sabotage can quietly control your life for years. Not in dramatic ways. In small daily choices. And if you don't notice the pattern, you may keep asking yourself, why does this always happen to me? The truth is, your actions often follow your deepest beliefs. Even the beliefs you never say out loud. The first insight is this, your comfort zone is emotional, not logical. People think a comfort zone is something pleasant. But that's not always true. For some people, anxiety is comfortable because it's familiar. Struggle is familiar. Worry is familiar. Imagine a person who grew up in a home full of stress. Maybe there was always conflict, money problems, or criticism. Later in life, peace can actually feel uncomfortable to them. Silence feels strange. Stability feels suspicious. So what do? Without thinking about it, they create problems. They start fights. They delay important tasks. They wait until the last minute. Not because they are lazy, but because stress feels normal to their nervous system. I once knew a man who always complained about being broke. Then he finally got a higher-paying job. For 2 months, everything improved. Then suddenly he started buying expensive things he didn't need. New gadgets. Fancy dinners. Weekend trips. Within a short time, he was in debt again. He said he wanted financial freedom. But deep down, he only knew how to live in survival mode. The second insight is this, you may confuse self-worth with achievement. Many people learn this lesson very early in life. They receive love or attention only when they succeed. Good grades. Hard work. Perfect behavior. So they begin to believe, if I stop achieving, I lose value. At first, this mindset can make you successful. You become productive, responsible, driven. But eventually, it becomes exhausting. Because when life finally gets easier, you don't know how to relax. Rest feels wrong. Happiness feels temporary. You think you always need to earn your place. So when something good happens, your brain says, this won't last. And then you unconsciously prove yourself right. A woman I spoke to once told me she ended every healthy relationship after a few months. She always found a reason. He's too boring. He's too nice. There's no spark. But later she realized something important. Calm relationships felt unsafe to her because she connected love with emotional drama. She didn't trust peace. She trusted intensity. And many people do the same thing in different areas of life. They chase stress because stress feels like purpose. The third insight is simpler but very powerful: your identity controls your behavior. If you constantly say, "I'm bad with money, I'm unlucky," or "I always ruin things," your actions will slowly match those words. Your brain wants consistency. It wants your behavior to match your identity. This is why real change feels difficult at first. Not because you are weak, but because you are trying to become unfamiliar to yourself. Think about someone trying to become healthier. If they still see themselves as the lazy person or the unhealthy one, every good habit feels temporary. They may exercise for 2 weeks and then suddenly quit. Not because the habit failed, but because the new identity hasn't become real yet. The same happens with confidence, relationships, and success. You can't build a peaceful life while secretly believing you belong in chaos. So what can you actually do about this? Start paying attention to the moment right after something good happens. That moment is important. When you receive good news, do you immediately look for a problem? When things become calm, do you create pressure? When someone treats you well, do you become distant? Don't judge yourself for these reactions. Just notice them. And then ask one simple question: what feels unfamiliar here? Maybe success feels unfamiliar. Maybe rest feels unfamiliar. Maybe being loved without conditions feels unfamiliar. Awareness changes everything. Because once you see the pattern, you stop believing the pattern is your personality. You realize you are not broken. You are trained. And training can change. One small practice can help. When something good happens, don't rush away from it. Stay with it for a moment. Even 30 seconds matters. Let yourself experience the feeling without immediately preparing for disaster. That is how you slowly teach your brain that peace is safe. Your life does not improve only because your situation changes. It improves when your identity changes too. And maybe that's the real challenge. Not getting the good life, but learning how to stay there without pushing it away. Because you deserve more than survival. You deserve a life that feels calm, stable, and real. And the moment you stop fighting that possibility, everything begins to change.